At first, we thought it was a comet. Okay, an interstellar comet. Cool, but its tail didn't behave like a tail. At one point, it was pointing directly at the sun. That is physically impossible. It's like trying to swim against a current by pushing off the water itself. Then it snapped in reverse direction, perfectly symmetrically, as if someone flipped a switch. That was the first red flag. Then James Webb got involved, and things became truly bizarre. Its composition completely broke the rules. Forget the dirty snowball model of our comets. This object was nearly 90% carbon dioxide with almost no water. It was dry as a bone, yet it glowed from within, emitting heat. And the ratio of metals, nickel without iron in those proportions, is not something nature creates. That is something you smelt in a factory. We all waited for the sun to destroy it at perihelion, the point of maximum pressure. Any comet would have been torn to shreds. We even witnessed the sun strike it with a coronal mass ejection, a CME, essentially a cosmic shotgun blast. And it didn't even flinch. It absorbed the impact and flew on. Its temperature stabilized. This wasn't a rock. It was a ship with a thermal shield. Its shape was a 10.1 aspect ratio like Oumuamua, but this one wasn't tumbling chaotically. It flew smoothly, as if under control. My good friend, Professor Avalop, one of the smartest people I know, estimated the probability of its artificial origin at 40%. Honestly, after what I've seen in the last few days, I think he's being far too cautious. Everyone expected it to use the sun as a gravitational slingshot to accelerate away, a maneuver called the Oberth effect. We use this with our own probes. It would have been the logical choice if it simply wanted to leave, but it did something completely illogical, something impossible. It began to brake. Understand this. There are no brakes in space. You're either pulled by gravity or you fly by inertia. Slowing down with such precision, smoothly, as if pressing a pedal, requires an engine. It requires intent. This was a deliberate act, and while it was braking, we heard something, a faint but perfectly clear signal. 3 pulses, a pause, 3 pulses, a pause. Every 247 seconds on the hydrogen frequency, the universal communication channel humanity has theorized about for decades. This wasn't noise. It wasn't interference. It was mathematics. It was a message. So let's summarize. We have an object built from industrial materials capable of surviving a direct hit from a star. It is performing controlled braking maneuvers in our solar system, and it is sending a repeating coded signal. It is not just flying past. It has stopped. It is looking at us, and it is saying something. This could be the greatest moment in the history of consciousness, an invitation to the cosmic club, or it could be a knock on the door from someone you really don't want to meet. And right now, the only thing we can do is listen and hope we correctly understand what it tells us. Because this guest isn't leaving, it has arrived. The scientific community split into 2 camps overnight. One half argued that 3I Atlas was the first physical proof of an interstellar probe, possibly the debris or technology of a long-dead civilization. The other half desperately tried to preserve the established order, claiming it was all coincidence and that nature, if observed long enough, can mimic intelligent behavior. But as new data arrived, denying the obvious became harder. The James Webb Space Telescope, reoriented to track the object from its L2 Lagrange point orbit, detected an unnatural polarization pattern emanating from 3I Atlas's surface. Unlike any known comet or asteroid, it reflected light in alternating planes, as if rotating layers of material were deliberately modulating the reflection. Readings even showed microsecond variations matching the rhythm of the radio pulses. At the same time, telescopes in Chile recorded that its tail had reformed, this time as 2 separate streams that intersected at a perfect 90-degree angle. Such geometry is not found in nature. It looked as if the object was dividing its emissions to send optical signals across space. Theorists began asking, what if these weren't random releases? What if 3I Atlas was using light itself to communicate, not with us, but with something else? On August 29th, everything changed. As 3I Atlas moved outside Earth's orbital plane, its trajectory shifted slightly inward. It was a small but entirely deliberate motion that aligned it perfectly with the ecliptic plane of the outer planets. The alignment was perfect, too perfect. For 27 hours, the object's path formed a straight line, passing through Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and deep into interstellar space. Every telescope recorded a strange glow emanating from its nucleus, oscillating at regular intervals. Astronomers then noticed the oscillations matched planetary orbital resonances, as if 3i Atlas was calibrating itself to the harmonic frequencies of our solar system. This alignment was not accidental. It was choreographed, but what followed was even more chilling. For the first time since discovery, the object emitted a visible flash, a powerful ultraviolet burst lasting 2.8 seconds. It ionized the solar wind around it. The flash wasn't diffuse, it was directional. When scientists traced the beam's vector, it pointed exactly toward the region between Vega and Lyra, the same region where the mysterious "wow" signal was detected in 1977. Then came the silence. The flash stopped. The radio pulses ceased. 3i Atlas went dark. For weeks, the world waited. Every telescope was aimed at its last known position, but nothing appeared. No heat signature, no reflected light. NASA officially declared it optically lost. Yet deep inside James Webb's raw archives, something remained. A faint interference pattern recorded milliseconds before the UV flash faded. When analyzed, it revealed a modulation in the light itself, like an optical fingerprint deliberately left behind. And within that pattern was structure. The modulation wasn't noise. It contained repeating frequency ratios, the same ones found in hydrogen transitions, planetary resonances, and, most unsettlingly, in Earth's electromagnetic heartbeat. This final impulse wasn't a flash. It was a message written in the language of light. When Harvard-Smithsonian scientists performed wave analysis, the results stunned them. The signal mirrored the earlier prime number radio sequences, but now organized into a three-dimensional lattice of intertwining spirals resembling a double helix. This wasn't text, it was geometry. A universal constant, a blueprint. Avalop called it a cosmic signature of intent. According to his report, the geometry represented resonant encoding, a method of storing information not in symbols, but in vibrations. If true, Atlas didn't send us a message to read. It left behind a code to experience. NASA classified the data immediately, but not before several independent researchers copied the waveform and ran it through quantum resonance simulators. Something extraordinary happened. A repeating harmonic manifested, growing stronger each cycle, as if the waveform was interacting with space-time. Then suddenly, the signal inverted and the simulation crashed. Before shutting down, the AI translation module output a final phrase, generated automatically from the waveform's mathematical symmetry. "We remember you." The message spread quietly before being scrubbed from the public databases. NASA denied everything. SETI went silent. Officially, 3i Atlas was declared a natural interstellar comet. Unofficially, whispers grew. The object's final signal wasn't a goodbye, it was an activation. 2 months later, several observatories detected faint echoes of that same harmonic. But this time, the signal wasn't coming from Vega or Lyra. It was coming from inside our own solar system. Some called it interference, others, a cosmic echo. But a small group, the same scientists who decoded the original signal, believed something far deeper. That whoever sent the object left not a threat, not a warning, but a reminder. A reminder that intelligence may not live outside the universe, but within it, in the harmony between light, matter, and consciousness. Maybe 3i Atlas didn't come to observe us. Maybe it came to wake us up. The arrival of 3i Atlas and its message, "We remember you," didn't just shake science, it shook the world's oldest belief systems. Throughout history, the heavens have been viewed as a source of divine revelation or cosmic warning. In this context, 3i Atlas becomes a modern celestial messenger, not speaking in prophecy, but in mathematics. Abrahamic traditions would face a theological crisis. How do you reconcile a civilization older and more advanced than humanity with sacred texts declaring humans as God's unique creation? Some would call it demonic deception. Others would see it as proof of God's infinite creativity. Eastern religions, however, with their cyclical universes and countless worlds, might accept it more easily. To them, the cosmic visitor fits naturally into the endless diversity of existence. ancient astronaut theorists would be vindicated. Perhaps 3i Atlas wasn't a first contact, but a return. The message "we remember you" could mean, "We remember what you were. Now we have come to see what you've become." Ultimately, 3i Atlas becomes a cosmic mirror. Looking at it, humanity sees not just a visitor from another star, but a reflection of our own hopes, fears, and quest for meaning. Perhaps its true mission was not to deliver information, but to activate something within us, to push humanity toward a new stage of evolution where science and spirituality converge. Because maybe its awakening wasn't the activation of a device, but the activation of human consciousness.